Hey friends, I'm going to show you how to make my favorite chocolate cake, and it's actually my family's favorite, and it starts with a cake mix and it's fabulous. It's on the blog, and here's how you make it. You start with a devil's food cake mix, not just the chocolate but the devil's food because it's got a richer chocolate flavor. Then you've got the chocolate pudding, okay? You start by just putting your dry ingredients in your mixer, okay? And then you just want to toss those just a little bit, and that's it. Okay, next we're going to add our water and oil, and then we're going to do our first mixing, okay? And I'm using a KitchenAid, but you do not have to use a KitchenAid. But you do not have to mix this part long. We're just wanting to get everything wet and blended. Okay, everything is blended. Now I'm going to turn this back on and I'm going to add the eggs one at a time. And as soon as the first one is almost blended, it doesn't take long at all, I'm going to add the second one. And I'm going to do this, adding them one at a time until all the eggs are completely incorporated. Okay, guys, it is very smooth and it's all incorporated. That took about 2 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to take the bowl out. Okay, look how yummy that is. Okay, now, got a cup of sour cream and I'm going to stir that in. You don't have to blend it. You can stir this in. And y'all, that makes this cake so moist and rich you would not believe. That's one thing that's so fabulous about this cake is how moist it is and how chocolatey it is. Okay, so see, that's right there. It's all blended. You just, actually, you stir it until you don't see the white anymore. And then the last thing, you put in your cup of semi-sweet chips. I like Ghirardelli, and this is the Enjoy Life. This is actually the Enjoy Life dark chocolate, which tastes like semi-sweet, and it's so yummy. I like the mini chips, or you can use the regular. Okay, so I've stirred that in. I want to show you. Use a bundt pan. This is my bundt. This is the Party Bundt by Nordic. You want a cooking spray that has flour. Look how liberally I sprayed that. You do not want any of this to be unsprayed or this cake will stick because it is so moist. But I'm going to put this in the bundt pan and then I'm going to bake it in a 350 preheated oven. Okay. Okay. Then you just spread the cake and you want to wipe up any excess that gets around the edges because it will cook really quickly and it'll start having a burning smell. So just clean that up just a little bit. I always tap that 350 oven and I watch it. When you start smelling it, you know it's almost ready. But I watch it, it's about 40 minutes, but I'll open the door if I think it's ready, and if I shake it, if it doesn't jiggle, it's ready. So we'll come back when it's done and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, I want to show y'all what it's supposed to look like on the top when you remove it. And it just stopped jiggling when I took it out, but it's still a little bit flexible. You do not want it to be dry and stiff, because as it sits, it's going to firm up a little bit, but this is perfect, and I'm going to leave it for probably 30 minutes, and then I'll turn it out onto a platter and show you what it looks like then. Okay, everybody, it has been sitting for about 30-40 minutes, and as you see, I showed you all a picture in the previous slide when it first came out of the oven. This is after sitting. You'll see that it sinks just a little bit, but that's okay. Now, I want to show you how you freeze this cake if you want to make it ahead and freeze it, which I usually do. And this is going in the freezer, and I'm going to pull it out and glaze it the next time we have company. This is something that's so handy. It's a cake spatula. It's almost like a pizza peel. It's very similar, but it's the size of a cake. It's just a little bit bigger than a cake. So here goes. I want you to see how to put this cake, how to turn it onto a cake spatula. Okay? You just get it like this, and you make sure you're covering the entire top of the cake. Then you do that. You sit it down. Now, don't immediately lift the top or lift the cake pan. You want to give it just a second to make sure it loosens completely, because there's nothing worse than lifting this up and cake being stuck to the pan and your cake not being beautiful. Okay, so here we go. And you just gently wiggle it back and forth. Perfection. Y'all, that is perfect. Now, let me show you what you do next if you plan to freeze it. Now, this is warm. You could eat it or serve it like this. I glaze it. You can glaze it and freeze it. I'm going to freeze it and then glaze it before the next time I serve it. Before you freeze this cake, you want to flash freeze it, which means you just stick it in the freezer. You can stick it in just like this for an hour or two where it gets frozen hard. Then you can slip it into a freezer bag. 2 gallon is perfect. 1 gallon's not quite large enough. This is a freezer bag. So you'll stick it in the freezer bag, get the air out after you flash freeze it, and that way it will go into the bag without fear of breaking or tearing. This is a fabulous cake, and if you want to know how to make the ganache, which is simply 2 ingredients, that is a separate video, but I hope you will try this cake. It is absolutely fabulous, and I hope you have a fabulous day.